If you can execute this combo, or this one, then you can do this, this, and this. Now bear in mind, I'm 52. If I was a used car, you'd be doing more than kicking the tyres. But what you've just seen there is a consequence of having a good grasp of technique, and having that technique helped keep me in pretty good shape over the long term. Now you can nail this stuff, and that's what this video is about. At the end of the video, you'll have a good idea of the 4 or 5 things that you need to do to be able to consistently throw good quality combinations that mix both power and control. Okay, my name's Fran Sands. Welcome to My Boxing Coach. Those first 2 combinations, so this one and this one, they look very similar, don't they? Now they are the same punches, but there is quite a big difference. Let's go through them in a bit of detail. Let's have a look at this, a few executions of this first combination. Okay, so as an orthodox, that is a left, right, so a jab, straight backhand, left hook. And I try and roll at the end to end defensive. Always try and end defensive on your combinations. Let's have a look at the drill. So if I'm drilling that, now that's the key thing, just practice the simple drills over and over again. Here's how it works. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Show you again. 1, 2, 3. So what's the key things there? Firstly, I'm going to cover the ground with the jab. So before we start the combination, if you think about it, there are 5 ranges in boxing. Out of range, that's when you're quite a way away from the opponent. Edge of range, when you're just beyond the end of your extended lead arm. Long range, where your jab can land, or your backhand. Mid range, about the length of your upper arm away, and close range, where you're nose to nose, right up against each other. So you've got to cover the ground, you've got to transition through those ranges. So we start off at the edge of range. The jab takes us into long range. That little move forward, push with the jab, so we're covering about that much ground. Then the backhand, good rotation, drive off the back leg, good clean straight backhand. And then we push off the back leg, and as that hook lands, so you can see that little cover of the ground, as the hook lands, my front foot impacts the floor. So we finished at mid-range with the palm in hook, and then obviously after you've done that you can roll. And when we do the roll, so it's the hook, it's the legs that do the roll, slip out and roll under. Yeah, always nice to end defensive. Now, in order to land palm in, you've got to cover quite a bit of ground. That changes on the second combo, we're going to get there. But if I keep my palm in and I don't cover enough ground, my arm ends up a lot longer, and there's a risk that I'm punching with the inside of the hand. Palm towards you increases power. It's about risk versus reward, being able to cover that ground and do the range transition. Now let's have a look how that varies a little bit from combination number 2, which is this one. Okay, so the drill is very similar. Jab, backhand, hook. Right? 1, 2, 3. And with that one, that's a palm down hook. Now, generally speaking, there's less power, or there's more power in palming. You can generate more force, I guess, with palming. Palm down, little less power, although not in all cases. So a little less power on the palm down. But the benefit is that you get more control. You can throw it at longer range. So you can cover less ground. When you, after that backhand, you can just, you know, it can be thrown at quite long range. So there's a lot more control with that shot. Less risk, but you're able to show that control and keep the opponent at longer range. And then obviously after you've thrown it, if we want to end defensive, we can just push out. So it's 1, 2, 3 and out. 1, 2, 3 and out. Yeah? That's combination number 2. So what about those other 3 combinations? The ones that we can master with the same principles, if we can master the first 2. Here's the third combination. Okay, so what we've got there is a jab, backhand, hook, pivot, double hook. Double backhand hook up the centre line. So we're attacking the centre line with the hook. Now that pivot, you can either do a pivot, which from there, if I'm going to pivot out that way, is simply a push off that back leg and my body weight collapses onto the back leg as we go round. 45-degree pivot. Don't tilt forward, that's the big risk when people pivot. So you could do the pivot with the hook, or you could do the angled side step. So you shift position, giving you the room to throw that double backhand hook, attacking the centre line. High aggression. If you're throwing that combination, it's got to be done fast, you've got to cover that ground, and you've got to use really high aggression. And bear in mind, you're on top of the opponent, so the arms have to be in a really good guard position. Good double cover. What about combination number 4? Okay, so that's, again, if the last one was high aggression, this is probably even more high aggression. So when you throw that jab, you've really probably got to get to mid-range so that when the jab lands, your arm's slightly bent and then you force through. So there's quite a big step in, mid-range, backhand hook, lead hand hook, roll round, lead hand hook. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, cover. Again, go cover because you're up close. But it's high power, high aggression. Again, you can do palm in or you can do palm down. So palm in would be 1, 2, 3, 4, high aggression. Palm down, you could stay a little bit further off, reduce the risk, increase the control, and maybe go down the power scale a little bit. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. But again, that roll is to deal with any shots that come in as you're halfway through your combination. And then the final combination, combination 5. So with that combination, we're using the jab and we're going to combine a move forward with the slip in to give us the head hook, and then we're dropping to the body and the head, and we're going to roll round to give ourselves cover, but we are switching target from body to head. So let's just show you that from the front on position. Jab, so long range jab, slip and move in, 1, 2, 3, roll and finish in a good guard position. That's, again, high aggression. We are switching target. Head, body, head. Be precise with the body shot. So you're aiming for the liver, so you're aiming for just under the ribs. Don't aim for the ribs, be precise, aim just below the ribs and then back up to the head. After that you can stay on them, or you can press the attack, or you can break off and go back to long range. But that slip and move in, you're combining two moves. And the complementary skill, so if I push off the back leg to go forward, and if I want to do an inside slip, again it's a push off the back leg. So I can combine the both by going 1, 2. That's the push forward and the inside slip. And then we throw the punch at the end of it. Okay. So, if you want to execute these 5 combos, here are your key takeaways. Number 1, get good at transitioning through range. The only way you do that is by doing the drills. Right? So you learn that on drills in a non-threatening sort of environment, and then you try and translate that onto bags as well. That gives you a good point of reference. Or if you do sparring, into the sparring. We also want to think about risk. So the distinction between power and control, and how much risk you're willing to take in order to deliver power shots versus how much control you want to keep of the situation. Pick the right shot for the right range. There's no sense trying to throw a straight punch when you're straight right on top of each other. You know, vary the shots. Short, uppercuts, and at long range, make the hooks longer. When you're going for power, it's got to be high aggression. You've got to cover the ground quickly, and you've got to go from mellow to high aggression in a split second, and then back down to cool and calm. Yeah? And finally, end defensive every time you do a combination. Don't pretend that the opponent or the threat is going to break apart and fall asleep. They're not. They're going to throw a punch straight back, so plan for that outcome. Okay. Before you go download your book, The Beginner Boxer Toolkit. 68 pages, packed full of insights and information that will help you on your boxing journey. If you've enjoyed this video, that'll give you a great way to take your learning onto the next stage, whether you are in this for fitness or for competition. It will guide you all the way. My name's Fran Sands. I'd love for you to leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.